And hello and welcome to the Athletics Center on the campus of St. Joseph College, where tonight the Fighting Saints play host to the Norwich University Cadets in women's college basketball action. As always, brought to you here on STCN, Stafford Technical Center News. And good evening, everyone. Rick Lyons here. Happy to be along for the call of this one between the Cadets and the Fighting Saints. We're about 3 minutes from tip. Let's set the table. The Norwich Cadets come in at 10-4. They're 3-3 in the month of January, and out of those 4 losses, however, 3 have been by the two-point variety, or of the two-point variety, so very competitive are these Cadets. They scored 65 per. They allow 58 a night. They shoot it at 36% from the floor and 26% behind the three-point arc. They're led in scoring by senior guard Aliyah Curry, scoring at 22.5 per. And she likes the three ball, attempting over 7 a night, hitting about a third of those at 32% from behind the arc for Aliyah. Heather LeBlanc, sophomore forward, scores 12.5 for the Cadets at 55% from the floor. She chips in also off the backboards in a big way, rebounding at 10 a night. And also we have Kelsey Lottie, a senior guard from South Yarmouth, Massachusetts, scoring 10 points a night. And her high this year was 16 points against Massachusetts Dartmouth. Switching over to the Lady Fighting Saints, they come in 11-3, 6-0 in conference play. Winners of 10 straight, coming off a big game, a big win over nationally ranked Central Maine on Sunday. Central Maine third ranked in the national poll under the USCAA. And our Saints here, a 7th ranked club, so look for them to move up in this week's ranking. Nonetheless, the Fighting Saints scored at 80 per, allow 40 a night. They shoot it very well at 45% from the floor, and they like the long ball, shooting 34% from behind the arc. They're led in scoring by Mookie Kennedy, fresh off her 1,000th career point on Sunday. Mookie scores it at 20 a night. Shoots it at 46% from the floor, 36% from behind the arc. She's coming off a 14.4 steal effort against Central Maine on Sunday. Regina Steele. Regina just does everything on the floor, scores, rebounds, and blocks shots. 19.7 on the average, 14 rebounds per contest, and blocks 3 a game for the Fighting Saints, and shoots an incredible 68% from the floor. Mookie Kennedy's running mate, Jazz Larasuente, in the backcourt. Jazz does it at both ends of the floor as well as Mookie offensively, scoring at 14.5 per, 4 rebounds, likes the three ball, shooting 35% from deep. And Jazz coming in here off a 20.7 assist effort against Central Maine on Sunday. In that contest, of course, the Saints came away with an 80-65 win to run their winning streak to 10 straight. So it should be a good one here tonight between the Cadets and the Fighting Saints. We're about ready to tip it on a Thursday night in Rutland. But first we will honor our country with the playing of the national anthem. And the playing of our national anthem. One thing I noticed as I was watching both teams standing for the anthem was the size differential. Norwich comes in with good depth of size on their squad. Now for our starting lineups. Number 15, Aaliyah Curry out of Windsor, Mass. For the Cadets. And number 20, Kelsey Lottie, senior guard out of South Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Number 23, Heather LeBlanc, sophomore forward, 6-foot sophomore forward out of Sanford, Maine. Sophomore guard Kayla Mercer, number 24, out of New Britain, Connecticut. And number 33, Tori Keithrow, a senior forward, another 6-footer out of Barnstable, Massachusetts. And now for the Lady Fighting Saints. Number 0, Shamari Broadhead. And number 1, Shantavia Mookie Kennedy. Number 12, Jazz Larasuente. And number 30, Jamie McLaughlin. And rounding out the starting 5, number 11, Regina Steele. Rounding out the starting 5 for the Fighting Saints. Norwich University, an NCAA team. And the Fighting Saints, as we talked about already, they play in the USCAA, United States College Athletic Association, of which there's just under 100 teams nationally. And as we said, in the recent poll, CSJ ranked number 7, but after knocking off the number 3 ranked Mustangs of Central Maine on Sunday, look for St. Joe's to move up in next week's poll. But it should be a good one. Right off the top, you might think quickness on the side of the Fighting Saints, and size looks to be a little bit on the Norwich University size. Talking to Coach Chris Wood before the contest, we talked about they're multidimensional. They're not just a jump shooting team. They can beat you at both ends of the floor. They convert defense to offense very quickly. They can beat you off the bounce or step back and shoot from long range. And with Regina Steele and McLaughlin on the boards, they have owned the battle of the backboards consistently through this season. It'll be a good test tonight against the size of Norwich. And Kennedy and St. Joseph's clears off the tip. Finds Larasuente, puts it on the deck once. No. Hustled down by, that's 24, Mercer comes up with it for Norwich. They quickly find Curry, and she'll set it up at the top. CSJ and their always present man-to-man. That's Keithrow looking inside to Lottie. Larasuente on the shot block, out of play. Norwich will inbound. They find Curry, guarded by Kennedy. Loses her dribble in the corner and deflected out of bounds. Norwich will continue to retain possession. Shot clock down to 10, so 10 seconds left for the cadets to pull the trigger on their initial possession. Curry on top. Puts it on the deck once. Front rims that one. Kennedy runs down the long rebound, and Mookie will push. Looks it over, thinks better of it, and pulls it out. Swings it to Broadhead. Inside to Steele. Backside to Kennedy. Shuffle the feet. We're going the other way. Good idea. Wanted a little up fake and dribbled penetration, but steps called on Kennedy. 2-2-1 pressure by the Saints. Norwich looking middle. Denied by McLaughlin. Nice job by Jamie. Jazz to Mookie. Up and in. So the backcourt's mates hook up for the first bucket of the night. As that pressure Norwich breaks down this time. Clears the timeline. That's 20 on the pull. That's Lottie. Knocks back a 3. The senior guard from South Yarmouth. Kennedy settles things on top. Swings it to Broadhead. Broadhead will put it on the deck. Won't go with that shot release. Curry on the push for the Cadets. Finds Lottie. Good ball movement. Get it inside, do they, to Keithrow on the shot block. Did not go. Broadhead on the push. Finds Kennedy. Spin move in the paint. Keithrow comes out of the pack with a basketball for Norwich. Keithrow puts it on the floor. Whistle and a foul. And that's going to go against. Waiting did not see that call. And it's going to be on number 30, Jamie McLaughlin. The first attempt rattles out for the senior forward, Keithrow. So foul assessed to McLaughlin, her first, team first. And we're ready to go with Tori's second attempt. Gets that one to go. 4-2 Cadets early in this one. Probing that zone defense of the Cadets are the Fighting Saints. Broadhead sealed off on her dribble drive. Finds Lara Suene on the baseline. Keeps her dribble alive. Finds Kennedy on top. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Got to get busy. Mookie does. Gets to the paint. Up and won't go, however. And the Cadets looking to run. Whistle. And a foul. That one's going to go against Lara Suente, her first, team second. Keithrow will inbounds on the side for Norwich. Looking for help. Gets it from Mercer. Mercer finds Curry. Gets to the paint. Shuffles the feet. So both teams trying to find a rhythm offensively here. As Kennedy clears the timeline. Broadhead, get penetration. Again, going to get Kennedy on the steps. Her second travel violation of the night. There's a 2-3 zone giving problems right now to the CSJ Fighting Saints. They like to pressure, turn you over, get out and run in transition. And they haven't been able to do that. Have had to face the 2-3 zone of the Cadets and probing it inside and out as we have a whistle and a foul. Curry that time pulled the trigger. Fouled on the shot release. Foul goes against Lara Suente, her second. Team's third. Curry lines it up. Front rims her first attempt. Senior guard out of Windsor, Massachusetts. Coming in averaging just under 23 per. And gets her second to go. And a 30-second timeout by Coach Wood. He'll talk things over. We'll take a break. Cadets up early in this one.
Video communications program, I get professional experience by being an anchor on a live TV newscast.
I get to pursue my passion in creating videos of my gameplay.
In video communications, I get to use top-of-the-line equipment just like the professionals do.
I chose.
We chose video communications, and you should too.
So head coach Chris Wood took the timeout. Talk over, I should say, the offensive end of things, I'm sure. How they want to attack the 2-3 zone, although now they have to attack full court pressure by the Cadets off the timeout. They break it easily. Get it to Kennedy on top. Cadets come out in a man look this trip. And they look to post Larasuente low. Kick it back to Kennedy on top. Pulls the trigger. Gets it to go. Does Mookie. Good 3-ball shooter. Knocks one down there to tie things at 5. And good pressure by the Fighting Saints in that 2-2-1 look. Cadets get it across. Lottie, her second triple of the evening. That one from the left wing. Kelsey Lottie showing the stroke early. Broadhead to the paint. Looks inside to steal. Deflected out of play off Norwich. Subs coming into the contest for the Fighting Saints, number 14. Tony Lopez. For the Cadets, number 22, Ariana Harrison. This Steele puts it on. Finds Broadhead in the corner. Again, Shamari into the paint. Up and good for 2. Nice dribble drive by Shamari. Gets to the painted area. Goes glass for the score. We're tied at 7. Just underway in this one. Lottie from the corner. Front rims that 3. She's had the stroke early. Kelsey Lottie couldn't find the range on that pull. Tony Lopez into the contest. Boy, that's a nice trio of guards Coach Wood has. Kennedy, Larasuente, and Lopez coming in off the bench. He's only played in 7 games this season, but really productive on both ends of the floor is Tony. She has the ball out top now. Finds Kennedy on the wing. Sealed off. Swing it back to Lopez. 10 on the shot clock. Lopez inside of McLaughlin. Fans it out to Broadhead. Stop. Pop. Too long with that shot attempt for Shamari. LeBlanc clears and brings it. Finds Lottie, who will run things from the top this trip. And throws that one out of play. Sub into the game for the Fighting Saints. Shanika Spate. Seeing her first run of the evening. Tied at 7. Just under 15 minutes left in the first as they go down inside to Spate. Wanted steal. Didn't get steal. Got Josler, who carries the dribble and is leveled off by Kennedy. Curry comes and gets things. Lopez hounding her. And Lopez will be assessed the personal. As Curry put it on the floor, got to the painted area, but whistle stops things. First on Lopez, team's 4th for CSJ. Norwich will put it in on the side. Fine Lottie off the wing, had the hot hand early. Off the mark on that one. Tap to Steele, leaves it for Lopez. Goes back inside to Steele, but good anticipation by LeBlanc, picking that one off. And then they're going to get Josler for the double dribble violation in transition. Ball goes back to CSJ. 14:07 left in the half, tied at 7 in Rutland, Vermont. Steele fans it to Lopez. Step back 3 from the corner. Well off the mark. Norwich will bring it the other way. Checking into the game for Fighting Saints, number 3, Ebony Jones. So Ebony on the floor brings a lot to this Fighting Saints team in the way of hustle. Norwich clears the timeline. Thought they might push, but kick it back out on top. Josler finds Curry for the long range. Release didn't go. Josler runs it down. Puts up a shot. Ball on the deck. Scrum in the paint. This goes to the possession arrow favoring the Cadets of Norwich. So we talked about size differential early. The Norwich Cadets show they can shoot the basketball from long range. Certainly in the first 5-6 minutes of this one they have. Harrison. To Lottie. Lottie's had the hot hand early. They lob it inside to LeBlanc. Didn't get it to go. Good physical play there. 50-50 ball, and Curry comes up with it on top. Puts it on the floor, looks inside at LeBlanc. Shot off the mark. But Harrison on the putback for the Cadets. She'll get the bucket and a trip to the line. Well, Ariana. Foul goes on Spate for CSJ, her first, team's fifth. As Harrison lines up her free throw. And it's true for the freshman forward out of Vernon, Vermont. 10-7 Cadets. Cadets now in that man-to-man, and they have been for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They find Kennedy for a good look from the three-point area. Too strong on that release for Mookie. Curry trapped in the sideline, gives up the basketball. Jones on the push, finds Lopez. Open look for Tony. No. LeBlanc clears for the Cadets. Josler on the push, goes inside. Harrison won't get the shot to go, but she'll work her way to the line and shoot a pair. So the foul goes on Spate, her second. And a timeout on the floor. Coach Wood wants to talk it over. 10-7 Cadets, 12:25 left. We'll take a break. And welcome back to Rutland, Vermont. And in the timeout is looking over some stats. 6 team fouls assessed to the Fighting Saints. Cadets yet to be assessed with a personal foul in this one. So something to watch as we move forward. Harrison steps to the line. See if she can complete the three-point play. My bad, she completed a three-point play on the last time. Almost identical possessions on a putback. This time she was fouled in the act. Shooting 2, gets them both to go to Zariana. So a 12-7 margin for Norwich. As Kennedy brings it across against the man-to-man defense of the Cadets. Broadhead puts it on the floor, and there's a whistle and a foul. Shamari works her way to the line. She'll shoot a pair. Back rim's the first one. That foul goes on the Cadets' Lottie, her first. Shamari true on the second release. Norwich breaks the pressure. Josler on top to Curry. Hands off to Josler. And they'll get Broadhead on the reach in. And that's the team's 7th foul at the 11:58 mark. So for the rest of the half, Cadets will be shooting a 1-and-1. Josler front rims that first one, but running it down is big Heather LeBlanc. Her shot doesn't go. And the Saints clear. Looking inside to Steele. Regina hasn't had many touches, hardly any at all in this one. I'm sure Coach Wood would like to get her the basketball and see if she could go to work down low. They get McLaughlin, however, down low. Jump hook by Jamie. Won't go. Harrison clears for the Cadets. Josler looks down the floor. Gets it to Lottie. No. And Jones rebounds. Gets it quickly to Kennedy. Finds Broadhead on the wing. Kennedy on top. Swing it to Jones. Looking inside to McLaughlin. Misconnection. Pass goes out of play. Cadets will bring it the other way. Back into the contest for the Fighting Saints. Number 12, Lara Suente, had to get out of this one early with 2 quick personals, but Coach Wood says let's put her back in. And Jazz, a great athlete, plays smart, don't reach in, should be okay carrying those 2 personals. Josler brings it across for Norwich. Curry in the corner, back to Josler. LeBlanc finds Curry for the 3-ball. Patient, the Cadets are. Got what they wanted, and that was Curry with the long ball release. There you go, get it inside to Steele. Regina, a handful down low, powers it up. Shot wouldn't go, but she'll work her way to the line. Shoot a pair. That foul's going against LeBlanc inside. Some light issues now in the gymnasium. Now we're back to full capacity. Hopefully we'll stay on. Nonetheless, Steele for a first attempt at the line. Rattles it in. Regina lines up her second and gets it to go. 15-10, Norwich in front, the 10.5 mark of the first half. Curry again. And again on the backside, Harrison this time cleaning up the mess. Put back for Harrison. Again, hard to keep these Cadets off the offensive glass here early. They've done yeoman's work on putbacks and second shot attempts. And one right there by Harrison. Saints go inside. Players go to the deck. They're going to get Steele for the charge. Drop the shoulder. And down went LeBlanc in the paint. Now they're shaken up on the play. She'll come to the sideline. Checking in for LeBlanc is number 55, Katrina Laidlaw. 6'2", senior forward. Out of Dunblane, Scotland. How's that? 6'2", how's that? We said size and depth of size on this Norwich squad. And they go inside to the big forward. Laidlaw shuffled the feet. Coming this way. CSJ bring it to the offensive end of things. Trailing by 7. Had a hard time getting quality looks. There's one as Jazz puts it on the deck. Won't go off the glass. Steele comes in for the putback. She's hammered. Regina will revisit the line. So a nice dribble drive by Lara Suente. Off the mark, but Steele comes in, and she's a handful inside is Regina. Third straight foul shot. Steele gets to go. Just an athletic big. Coming off a 28 and 20 rebound effort against Central Maine on Sunday. Gets a pair right there. Does Regina. Cadets clear the timeline with a 5-point advantage. Saints in the good man-to-man. One drop, one dribble, pulls up and drops it, does Curry. A nice offensive player. You can see why the 5'6" senior averages 23 a night. That time put it on the deck once to free herself for the good. Drains it. Kennedy puts it on the floor, pulls up 12-foot baseline J, gets it to go. Mookie Kennedy with a mid-range jumper. And it leads back to 5 for Norwich. Jostler says, why not? Nobody going to play me. Back rims it and off the support wire out of play. It's number 10, Leanne Winans. A 6-foot sophomore. Another 6-footer comes in for Norwich for her first run of the night. Saints trail it by 5. Good ball fake by Lara Suente and knocks it down. Nice use of the ball fake. Fake the whole Norwich defense out on a little ball fake. Put it on the deck once and drains the 12-footer. Jazz a complete package offensively. Lottie lines it up. Rattles it around off the glass and in for her third 3 of the night. They're going to get a violation on CSJ on the inbounds. Must have stepped across the inline down there. Nonetheless, Norwich will inbound underneath their own after Lottie, as we said, knocked down her third triple of the evening. Back into the game, number 14, Lopez for CSJ. Jostler on top. Settles the Cadets into their offense. Finds Curry in the corner. Curry puts it on the floor. They're going to get Lopez on the reach that time. The 9th team foul on CSJ. Check that, actually, that went against McLaughlin, her 2nd of the contest. Curry hits her first. Second one rattles out. Lopez brings it across for the Fighting Saints. Finds Kennedy on the wing. Back to Lopez on top. They go cross court to Broadhead. Pass a little tall. Lopez runs it down. 15 left on the shot clock. Foul line jumper? No. Curry clears and she'll push for the Cadets. Leveled off by Lopez. And they're going to get Lopez on the reach on the far sideline. 10th team foul on the host Saints. Coach Wood will take a timeout, a 30-second variety. We'll take one too. Cadets up 7. And welcome back. Just in time to see Curry hit the second of the 2 free throws. She actually knocked down both, giving Norwich a 9-point advantage with 7:40 left in the first. So Cadets have been living off both lines, if you will, the 3-ball line and the foul line. And speaking of the 3-ball line, that's Mendez. Jenny Mendez just checked into the contest. A much-needed 3 from the corner for Mendez. So an explosive bench does Coach Wood have. Mendez certainly a part of it, showing the long ball threat there. Speaking of long ball threats, Lottie again, the senior guard, lines it up. Give her room. She's going to knock it back. Showed it again on that possession. 28-18, Cadets up 10. Kennedy from the top knocks it back. Mookie Kennedy for her 2nd triple of the evening. Cuts the lead to 7. Jostler sizes things up for the Cadets. Finds Curry on the left wing. Puts it on the deck, trying to get to the rim. Whistle and a foul. Going to go against Lopez. Her 3rd, I believe. And it is the 3rd on Tony. And again, Curry works her way back to the line for a pair. First one true. Multiple subs. There's Suente, Broadhead, and Jones return for the Fighting Saints. LeBlanc and Mercer back in for the Cadets. Sure. Again, just been passed a note here. We're having internet connection issues, and we apologize for the inconvenience, and we're working on it diligently as Lara Suente on a pullback elbow jumper doesn't get it to go. And Norwich brings it into the front court with the 8-point advantage. They'll get Broadhead that time, trying to level off the ball handler. And they assess Shamari with the personal. Her second of the contest. I think the 13th team foul now on CSJ. Crowd voices its disapproval. As Curry at the line again. She's lived there this first half. Gets it to go. That's the senior guard from Windsor, Mass. Curry came in averaging 23 a night. She's well on her way to that this evening. Hits the second. Checking into the game for the first time, Lacey Stever, sophomore guard out of Fairleigh, Vermont. And Coach Mark Zacher will take a timeout from Norwich. We'll take one too. Be back in 30. Welcome back off the timeout. Head Coach Zacher for Norwich takes the timeout there. Usually you change things up coming off a timeout, and they'll do just that. They'll pick up full here and pressure the basketball. Thrown right over the top, however, off the inbounds, and they get it to Jones. Jones to Mendez in the corner. Just buried one earlier. They get it down low to Steele. Powers it up. Whistle and a foul. They'll get 23. LeBlanc, 6-foot sophomore for the Cadets. She'll be assessed with her second personal. Steele with a shooter's touch right there. Hit iron 3 times, drops through the net for Regina. Perfect 5 for 5, I believe, on the evening from the line. Make it 6 for 6. So I'm sure Coach Wood would like her to get some touches down in the painted area. She can make things happen. Maybe doesn't convert every time with the shot from the floor, but has done yeoman's work from the line in this one. As they leave Stever alone, didn't know she was wide open, kicks it backside to Lottie. Not a bad idea the way she shot the basketball, and Cadets come out of the pack with it, then throw it into the first row. Well, that time Stever was doubled and then left completely alone, didn't realize it. Had a wide open 8-footer if she wanted it. There's Suente crosses the timeline. Norwich sits in the man. They go down low, do the Saints to Steele. Goes backside to Jones. Lara Suente, baseline jump. Front rims it. Lottie clears for the Saints, or for Norwich, I should say. And the Saints picking up in that good man. Stever gets to the paint. Goes up, Steele having none of it. Broadhead on the run out. She'll push to the rim. And they're calling that a tied ball. Tied up with Shamari as she went up for the shot release. Possession arrow favoring CSJ. Mendez puts it on. They'll look for Mendez off a Steele screen. And they'll reset on top. Swing it to Lara Suente, sizing it up, puts it on the floor. Broadhead on top. She's gotten into the painted area all night. Mendez, shot won't go, but Jones, smallest player on the floor, got a hand on that one, just couldn't secure the rebound. Norwich brings it the other way as number 15 checks back into the contest. Of course, that's Curry for the Cadets. Cadets with the 8-point advantage at the 4:48 mark of the first half. Cadets have scored from 3-point territory, the foul line, and also early on did a good job pounding the offensive glass. Miss Mercer off the mark with that one. Looked that the ball went out of bounds off the shot, but evidently tipped by a Fighting Saint player as Norwich retains possession. Checking back in is McLaughlin for St. Joe's. Mercer puts it on underneath for the Cadets. They look inside. And they'll look to Curry, who knows what to do with it. And that's bottom another 3 ball. Cadets on fire from long range in this one early. Lara Suente, stop, pop, no. Mercer finds Curry. Curry at the top, she'll pull. And knocks down another. Senior guard on fire for the Cadets. 13-point spread at the 4-minute mark. Lara Suente gets to the paint, spins. That release won't go for Jazz. And Mercer in a hurry for Norwich. Jazz with the good quick hands. That's what CSD needs a little bit more of. Convert offense to defense and gets it right there. So in the most recent games, defense has been converted quickly to offense by CSJ. The Cadets doing a good job overall in this first half of taking care of the basketball, but that time Lara Suente gets in the passing lane, gets the hand on it. Of course, in the open floor, she's a handful. Finishes at the rim. She'll look to convert the three-point play, and does. A much-needed three-point play right there. Cutting the lead to 10 as Kennedy checks back in for Lara Suente. Cadets will walk it up and explore this man-to-man by the Fighting Saints. Lottie looks inside this trip. They get LeBlanc, kicks it back on the top for a soft 12-footer by Kethro, and the 6-footer knocks it down. Cadets lead by a dozen. McLaughlin gets into the paint. Nice move by Jamie. Can't get it to go, though. Nice little up fake, got into the paint where she wanted to. Couldn't get it to go. And there's the quick hands of Kennedy. Step back 3. Money. Shantavia Mookie Kennedy with the quick hands and the step back 3. Cuts the lead to 9. Just under 3 minutes to go in the half. Speaking of 3, Lottie sizing it up, and she'll move her dribble to the top. Mendez levels her off. Now picks up the dribble, does Lottie. Finds Mercer. Back to Curry, who's been on fire in this first half. Both players go to the deck, no call. 7 on the shot clock. They find Mercer in the corner. 15-footer from the base. No, but on that offensive glass, working hard. That's LeBlanc. The 6-foot sophomore out of Sanford, Maine. They'll get Mendez with the foul there. So LeBlanc steps to the line where the Cadets have lived here in this first half. Gets her first one to go, does Heather. Checking back in, Ebony Jones. Number 3 for the Fighting Saints. High arcing release by LeBlanc. Gets 1 of 2. Kennedy brings it to the offensive side of things. Finds Jones. Mendez in the corner. Mookie gets a screen from Jones. Mendez again in the corner. Wanted to pull. Decided better of it. Swing it to the backside. Broadhead. Steal with a touch. Jones puts it on the deck. Open look by Mendez. Shot won't go, but working hard on the glass. Regina Steele. Saints retain possession. Kennedy on the dribble drive. And she's raked inside. She'll work her way to the line for a pair. So Steele saves the possession. Kennedy looking to cash in on it. Gets her first to go, does Mookie. Subs into the game. Number 10 for the Cadets, Leanne Winans. And number 10 for the Saints, Amani Stevenson, seeing her first run of the night. Also checking in for the Cadets, Ariana Harrison, number 22. Kennedy hits her second, cutting the lead to 8 with 1:48 left in the half. Josler sets things up, gets Curry on the left wing. She'll go dribble drive. Shot blocked out of play by Steele. Regina coming in, averaging 3 blocks a night for the Saints. She's got 3 in the first half in this one. Go all the way on top to Curry. Gets a screen from Lottie, then she gives to Lottie. Whistle and a foul. See who we get this time. Foul's on Amani Stevenson. Curry lines up her first of 2. Check that, Lottie lines up her first of 2 and drains it, does the senior guard. And her second one goes down as well. Kennedy on top, steps into a long 3. Backrooms that attempt does Mookie. Norwich looks to run. Lottie kicks it down inside. The Bigs go big to big. Steele having none of that. Goes left hand with a shot block. Jones looks it over, gets Stevenson on the baseline. That shot won't go. And that's Winans clearing in traffic for the Cadets. Inside of a minute to go in this one. Norwich with a 10-point spread. To the rim, Josler with a nice left-handed finish in traffic. Well, the freshman guard from Thetford puts it on the deck and scores. Norwich leads by an even dozen. Saints trying to cut into that. Broadhead to Jones. Gets inside to Steele. Goes up strong to Regina. Whistle and a foul. They're going to get Harrison with that personal. Regina works her way back to the line for a pair. True with her first release. Frequent visitor to the line is Regina in this first half. And that one rims out. So probably Norwich will look for last possession here. Shot clock and game clock almost aligned. 20 left on the shot clock. What do I know? She'll pull the trigger, and why not? That's Lottie again from downtown. So why play for the last shot of the half when you can drain another 3-ball, says Lottie, and she does just that. 5 seconds on the clock. They go to Kennedy for a deep 3 from the top. Front rims that one. Jones with a putback. It'll go with the buzzer. A much-needed putback for the Saints again. I don't love that young lady. Ebony Jones, smallest player on the floor, goes in amongst the trees, wrestles in a offensive rebound and a putback, gets it to go at the buzzer, and we go to the break. Cadets leading this one by an even dozen at 46-34. Story of this first half offensively for the Cadets, a mixture of getting to that free throw line. The Fighting Saints were in the bonus early, the double bonus early enough as well, probably with about 8 minutes left in the half. Fighting Saints had been assessed 10 personal fouls, and of course that means Norwich the rest of the way, shooting 2 each trip to the line, and they shot a high percentage. Maybe we'll get those stats up at halftime, but a high percentage. The Cadets are shooting from the line and a higher percentage from behind the three-point arc. Multiple players have knocked down threes for the Cadets, so offensively things flowing for Norwich. Offensively, things have come a little more difficult for the Fighting Saints. And what we had said, a lot of times in games past, or the most recent games, I should say, they have made a living of offense off their defense, turning teams over, and not really the case tonight as Norwich taking care of the basketball for the most part. A couple of times the quick guards of CSJ got their hands in the passing lanes and converted defense to offense quickly, but not the theme in the first half as it has been in many contests prior to this evening for the Fighting Saints. But Regina Steele got some touches late, got her the basketball, did the offense of the Saints, and Regina getting to the line frequently and shooting a high percentage herself from the line. So with intermission upon us, we'll take a break too. Norwich leads it by 12. We'll be back in a few. Apologize, we had a little bit of an internet connection issue in the first half, but we've had that rectified and we'll be good to go in this second half. The Cadets lead this one by 12 at the break, and going over some statistics from that first half. Curry for Norwich, of course, Aliyah Curry with 17 leads the way. Kelsey Lottie with 16 close behind. So the top two guns, both guards, combined for 33 points, I should say, and more importantly, 6 for 11 were the tandem behind the three-point line. So shooting the basketball well from deep, 6 for 11, those two, that was the team total from downtown. So a 55% first half from deep, and that puts you in good shape if you're Norwich. On the St. Joseph side of things, Mookie Kennedy with 15 points and Regina Steele with 7, the top two scorers for the Fighting Saints. Kennedy 3 for 6 from behind the three-ball line, but that's the only threes the Saints have gotten to go in this first half. They're 3 for 9 as a team. Quality foul shooting, though, by the Saints in that first half have kept them in this one. 11 for 13 from the stripe. For 85% in the half. So certainly cashing in on their opportunities from the free throw line. Personal fouls, 14 were assessed to St. Joseph's in that first half. Only 7 against Norwich. Players in foul difficulty. Tony Lopez for CSJ has 3 personals at the half, as does Heather LeBlanc, the sophomore forward for Norwich, with 3 personals. So everyone else with 2 or less should be in good shape foul-wise. But again, the 3-ball, not the entire story in the first half, but Norwich shooting a high percentage from long range. See if that continues in the second half. That and their ability to pound the offensive glass. The Cadets' good size and depth of size. Seems like everyone who comes into the contest is 6 feet tall. For their interior players. So I'm sure that was addressed at the halftime talk with Coach Wood and the Fighting Saints. Box out, keep them off the offensive glass, take care of the basketball, and some of our 3 or a few more of our 3 balls maybe go down in this second half. Just keep at it, keep working, and down 12, that's not the end of the world. As we get the second half underway, Norwich possession, and they inbound. And that's Curry on top, gets it back to Lottie, but we're going the other way. Got an illegal screen, and that's going against LeBlanc on the backside. Well, just what the doctor ordered if you're CSJ to start the second half. Kennedy brings it across. Goes to Lara Suente, back to Kennedy on top. Broadhead on the wing, looks down into the posted area to Steele. Kennedy puts it on the deck, dribble drive, whistle and a foul. She's fouled on her way to the basket. Free foul assessed to Keith Rowe of Norwich as Steele inbounds. Broadhead, stop, pop. Converted on one of those attempts in the first half. Can't find the range with that one. Curry brings it across, guarded by Kennedy. LeBlanc on top. They move it quickly to Lottie, guarded by Lara Suente. Back to Curry, gets to the paint. Quick hands of Kennedy, knocks it free, but right back the basketball goes to Norwich. Lottie on top, swings it over to Keithrow. Good ball movement here by the Cadets. 20 on the shot clock. Good recovery that time by Kennedy. Curry had her sealed off, but reaches in the passing lane, does Mookie, and deflects it out of play. 17 on the shot clock. Cadets go to work from underneath their own. Curry swings it to Lottie, guarded by Lara Suente, and that lob goes directly to Steele. Kennedy brings it across. Broadhead skips it back to McLaughlin. They go inside, ball tipped and deflected away. Turnover Saints. Key throw from the baseline, off the mark, but we'll stay right here. Steele went up for the rebound, off her hands, out of play. Cadets get it to Curry on top. Little pass and cut, missed Curry on the cut, went through the lane wide open. Good hands by McLaughlin, runs it down, and they'll push, will the Saints. Lara Suente and Kennedy, 2-on-3, but she'll pop, and it won't go, but McLaughlin cleans it up. Shot won't go, but she'll work her way to the line for two. So good hustle by Jamie, creating the steal defensively, and then fouled on the putback attempt. McLaughlin gets the first to go down. Harrison checks back in for Norwich, giving Keithrow a breather. McLaughlin gets a pair. An excellent free throw shooter is Jamie, shooting at just under 80% on the year from the stripe. 10-point advantage. Norwich brings it across the timeline. Curry and Kennedy going at it. Broadhead comes over to help, and she'll be whistled for the foul. It's Shamari's third, team's first of the half. Curry back to the line. He was 7 for 10 from the stripe in the first half. Gets the first to go. Does the 5'6" guard. Knocks down a pair. Does Curry. So again, back to that 12-point spread for Norwich. Lara Suente, no. Steele, put back, no. And Norwich, ball tipped multiple times, will clear the zone. It's down to Lottie, backside to Curry, and she'll be assessed for the double dribble. So not a smooth start at either end of the floor, offensive end of the floor, I should say, for either team. Nonetheless, Norwich owns the 12-point advantage. Lara Suente looks things over on the edge. Kennedy puts it on the floor, gets to the paint. Can't get it to go. Tied up there is LeBlanc, surrounded by Fighting Saints. And a held ball. Possession arrow favors CSJ. Coach Wood will take a full timeout at the 7:28 mark. We'll take one too. Norwich leads it by 12.
In the video communications program, I get professional experience by being an anchor on a live TV newscast.
I get to pursue my passion in creating videos of my gameplay.
In video communications, I get to use top-of-the-line equipment just like the professionals do.
I chose.
I chose. I chose.
We chose video communications, and you should too.
And welcome back to CSJ Fighting Saints basketball here on STCN, Stafford Technical Center News. So Coach Wood taking an early timeout. Wanted to talk things over, something he'd seen obviously in the first 2.5 minutes of the second half. He wanted to discuss with his Lady Fighting Saints. A little bit of a ragged start offensively for both groups. We'll see what we dialed up here if you're the Fighting Saints bench on this inbounds play. There's Suente, gets a double screen on top. Nicely designed play there. Shot won't go. Kennedy had her hands on it, but stripped underneath. Saints will inbound underneath their own. Nice design on that play. Got Jazz an open look from the top, couldn't convert. This time Fake's going to the top. She'll post instead. Step back 12-footer. Got it. So heads up that time by Lara Suente. Saints lined up to run the identical play. She broke it off, posted, and hits the step back 12-footer. Now pressuring the basketball, giving Mercer all kinds of fits is Lara Suente. And Steele steps in the passing lane. But LeBlanc able to run it down, went to the deck, secured possession. Curry settles things down on top. Gets to the paint, drives hard on Kennedy. Kennedy assessed for the personal. Curry deceptive with the dribble. Worked her way into the paint. More importantly, works herself back to the line for a pair. First one good. And a second one as well. Stoppage of play here. Official wants the end line cleared at the other end of the floor. And we're good to go. Norwich leads it by a dozen. As Kennedy finds Broadhead on the deep wing. Swings it to Steele, backside to Lara Suente. And a nice find inside to Steele. That's a great look by Jazz. Off the back to the backside box for the easy bucket by Steele. Trapped in the corner, gets out of it, does Curry. They swing the ball to Lottie. Lottie looking inside. Shot won't go, and a run out by Kennedy. 2-on-2, she'll stop, pop, rattles out. There's Suene, runs down the offensive boards. A deep three, back rims it. Curry on the push and finds Lottie, secondary break, knocks it back, does the senior guard. So Kelsey Lottie found the range in that first half from long range, hitting 4 of 7, knocks down her first long ball attempt of the second half. And they'll get Lara Suente for steps on the other end. Subs into the game, Spate and Lopez back in for the Fighting Saints. So Norwich holding that nice cushion, 13 points it is right now at the 15:35 mark of the second. Saints looking to step up the intensity at the defensive end of things. Been able to turn over Norwich a couple times in this second half. They'd like to get a little offense from their defense, so we talked about at halftime. Lottie goes inside, another turnover, and Kennedy on the push. Nice find to Lopez, who finishes on the backside. Very nice break right there. Kennedy to Lopez for the deuce. Cuts the lead to 11. Kennedy applying good ball pressure. And they're going to give Mookie. She ran into that screen, a high screen set. And Kennedy assessed for the personal foul. Her second of the contest, team's third of the half. Mendez coming in for the game. Jenny Mendez, her first minutes of the second half, checking in for Kennedy. Harrison inbounds for Norwich. Goes to Mercer on top. Backside to Curry for the long two. Gets it to go. does Curry. 55-42 Norwich. Just under 15 left in the contest. Larasuente probes on top. Gets it back on top, does Jazz. Gets into the paint. Drop-off pass to Spade. Spade able to save the ball as it was going off her hands out of play. Whistle and a foul. Foul call is going to go against Norwich's Lottie. Her second, team's fourth of the half. Mendez puts it on for St. Joe's. They'll go back to Jenny in the corner. Well defended by the Cadets. Suwene goes down low to steal. Wheels into the lane. Shot won't go. And they'll probably get Regina over the back. And they will. So that time they found Steele in the painted area. Regina wheeled into the lane, missed the shot, then fouls over the back. As Norwich clears the timeline. That's Mercer on top with it. Fans it to Lottie. They go down inside, and that's what they'll do. Curry posting. They'll send their guards down in, post them up. That time, Curry finishes in the paint. Clara Suwene denied at the rim, and she'll foul, a little frustration foul that time. LeBlanc picked Clara Suwene, and Jazz goes in trying to get the basketball back. Whistled for the personal. We've got a timeout on the floor. 13:45 left in. And welcome back to Rutland, Vermont for Saints basketball here on STCN. So Coach Wood with the timeout. Wanted to talk things over there. Encouraging them, I'm sure, to be smart with the basketball. Don't become frustrated. Continue to play. Long way to go in this one. Albeit right now, Norwich seemingly in control with a 15-point spread. As the Saints pick up, pressure three-quarter court, looking for a good trap situation. Norwich patient, gets the ball middle and kick it to the backside, but a 10 count did not clear the timeline. So patient they were, but a little too patient exploring that zone trap. Turn it over. Saints go on the attack. Broadhead swings it to Spate. And they find Lara Suwene in the corner. Deep three ball. Front rims that attempt. Whistle, and I think they're staying right there. See who they tag with this personal. It's going on Lacey Stever. Not check that. Going the other way. I thought the first signal they were staying down there. It goes on Spate. Shonika's third of the contest. And the Saints' sixth personal of the half. Lottie puts it on the deck once, looking inside. Good ball movement. That's Mercer on top. Can't find the range. That's a held ball inside. Norwich retains possession. So Mercer with a rare pull from the top. Couldn't get it to go. Cadets inbounds. And look inside. They're looking to go low this half. And that's a travel violation as Harrison couldn't find the handle. Steps called on the freshman forward out of Vernon, Vermont. CSJ brings it into their end of things. Probing this zone defense, trying to get something of a good look. Had a hard time doing that this evening against the Cadet D. There's a decent look, however, for Lopez, and she knocks it back. They're going to say that's a long two. That's what the doctor ordered. And she can shoot it. We highlighted that in the first half when she came off the bench and immediately knocked down a jumper. Speaking of shooter, there's Lottie, one of her rare misses on that attempt. Norwich runs it down, but good hustle by both teams. Mendez hit the floor trying to get possession of that one. Couldn't pull it in. Norwich will retain possession. McLaughlin and Amani Stevenson check in for the Fighting Saints. And number 5, Cheyenne Josler back for Norwich. Josler puts it on the deck. That hit rim. I think she really wanted to go inside to her teammate who corralled the loose ball. That was LeBlanc with a shot attempt. Off the mark. Saints push it to their end. Oh, up big. The offensive rebound and put back is Steele. Got up big in traffic. Regina cleaning up the mess. Cuts the lead to 11. Now you got to make it happen at the defensive end if you're CSJ. Need some stops. And then one and done. Get out of town if you force a miss. Got to clean up the backboards. Loose ball. Regina Steele comes away with it. Broadhead on the push. Finds Larissa Wente. Got it! So Jazz True for the 3-ball off the wing. Cuts the lead to 8 points as CSJ fights back into this one. And again, got to make it happen at this end. Need stops and then take care of your defensive glass. Norwich patient. Curry, step back 3. Shot won't go, but they're going to get Jazz with the body. Sending Curry to the line for 3. She's true. Aliyah Curry, senior guard out of Windsor, Massachusetts. We said, shot 10 of these in the first half. Well on her way to shooting 10 more in the second half. Gets her second of 3 to go on this trip. Is back into the contest. Leanne Winans for Norwich and Mookie Kennedy, number 1 for St. Joe's. Curry gets all 3. But just like that, answers to Larissa Wente triple at the other end with 3 free throws. Timeout on the floor. Norwich by 11. So 10:55 left in this one. Plenty of time for the Fighting Saints. Down 11 as we speak. Gotten a few things to go at the offensive end of things, but as we said, more importantly, they get busy on the defensive side of the basketball. As they inbound, and Kennedy will bring it across the timeline. Probing this zone defense of Norwich. Swing it right to left. And they'll turn the basketball over. Stevenson looking for Steele. Couldn't make the connection. Saints will pressure. Norwich hits middle and then to the backside, what you want to do against zone pressure. Josler holds on top. Cadets in no hurry. They go to Lottie, who gets the screen, thought about it, decided against it. Curry gets the screen off this side, then the screener rolling to the bucket. That was Winans. Misfires on the connection there. Saints kick it over to Broadhead on the left. Probing, probably like to go inside to Steele, and they do. Regina up strong. Whistle and a foul. They'll get Winans with the body. And Steele work her way to the line for a pair. First trip to the free throw line of the second half for Regina. Gets it to go on her first attempt. She was 7 for 8 from the stripe in the first half as Lopez checks back into the game for CSJ, number 14. And Regina looks it over for her second attempt. That one is true, cutting the lead to 9 at the 10-minute mark. Josler pressured by Lopez on top. Picks up her dribble. It's Delati who finds Curry in the corner, pressured by Kennedy. Patient offensive attack of Norwich. Shot clock down to 7, however. They've got to get busy. They go to Lottie, who knocks down the jumper. That girl can shoot, and Norwich works her well off screens. Gets the open look to go that time. Does Kelsey. Kennedy with the pull, a little too long. McLaughlin runs it down. They'll swing it back to Kennedy. And a whistle on the floor. Not sure why the stoppage. I think they might be discussing whether Mookie's initial shot hit the rim and should the shot clock be reset or not. So the crowd here at CSJ looks on. The officials sort this one out at the table. I don't believe Mookie's jumper did hit rim, so no setting of the resetting of the shot clock should have taken place, and now they have it set at 17 as LeBlanc comes in for Winnets for Norwich. So 17 left on the shot clock. As Kennedy inbounds on the side. Lopez on top, swings it to Stevenson. Can't find the range. And Norwich walks it across. They're in no hurry at the 9:09 mark with the 11-point cushion. Curry going inside to LeBlanc. Goes to her partner, Harrison, who puts it on the deck. Shot too strong, but Ariana works her way to the charity stripe, and she'll shoot a pair. Ariana Harrison, freshman forward, 5'10", out of Vernon, Vermont. Gets one of two, and Steele up high for the rebound, clears for CSJ. Lopez finds Kennedy. Probing the defense, finds Stevenson on the backside, and they're going to get Amani for steps. Lara Suente back into the fray, as is Broadhead, subbing in for McLaughlin, so Jamie gets a breather as the Saints pick up full court. Sitting in that 2-2-1, looking to trap. Norwich skips right over the top. Lottie leaves it on the backside for LeBlanc for the finish. Cadets lead it by 14. Jazz back rims that one. Hit a big three earlier, did Lara Suende. Lined that one up, didn't go. Ball out of play off Norwich. Steele will inbound. Broadhead with a sweeping right-hander gets it to go. Nice move by Shamari, gets into the paint and finishes. Norwich handling this pressure effectively. And of course that's Curry. Ball knocked out of play. Norwich retains possession. But as we said, many nights the CSJ pressure causes fits to the opponent. Not really the case tonight. Occasionally Norwich has turned it over, but not on a consistent basis. And that's good hustle. A good hustle by Mookie on the backside. Getting in the passing lane, deflecting it. Broadhead on the push. They go to corner to Lopez, who knocks it down. Toe on the line, deep two for Tony. It's back to 10. Norwich with a 10-point cushion as they break pressure. And a lazy pass out in front. Steele thought about it and pulled off it. Couldn't get to the basketball without committing the personal. As Curry settles things on top for Norwich. That time Regina goes for the steal, comes away empty. LeBlanc put it on the deck, finds Lottie, goes baseline up and in for two. So Lottie showing she's not only a three-ball assassin, she puts it on the floor there, and gets it to go on the dribble drive. Mookie into the paint, kicks it backside to Lopez. They go across court to Lara Suente. 12-footer, no. Josler looking long, finds Curry, who runs it down. Spin move won't go. Shot blocked on the putback attempt by Steele. Comes out of the pack. Finds Broadhead. Back to Steele, running the floor well. But they'll get Regina for the charge call. As Norwich stepped in effectively and took it there. Regina's third, 9th team foul of the half on CSJ. So a 12-point cushion. It's been 10, 12, up to 14. I think the highest lead Norwich has had in this second half. And CSJ just can't seem to work into that spread as that ball's deflected out of play by Lopez. Looking to step in and go the other way with it. Ball deflected out of bounds. Ebony Jones in the contest for CSJ, number 15. Check that, number 33, Tori Keithrow checking back in for Norwich. Saints down 12, they go on the attack. Broadhead, 12-footer, rims out. Again, one and done most of the evening at the offensive end of things for CSJ. It's that size of Norwich doing a good job on their defensive glass, and a wide open look that time. LeBlanc finishes the easy one, extending Norwich's lead to 14. Crossover by Jazz, stops and pops. Steele runs it down in the corner. Kennedy in the paint. Ball deflected out of play. Off Norwich. .22 Harrison back into the contest. Checking in for Keithrow of Norwich. Broadhead on top. Gets to the paint. Fans it out to Jones. Puts it on the deck. Looks for Steele inside. Knocked away. Norwich comes out of the pack with possession, and they'll push. Get it up the floor. But LeBlanc pulls it out. Swing it to the backside. Lottie off the mark. Steele clears to Kennedy. There's Suente in the paint. It goes. Let's see if they give it to her, or was the foul assessed on the floor? Let's say on the floor. Waving the shot off. And Steele will inbounds underneath for the Fighting Saints. Down 14. 5:10 left in this one. She finds Kennedy inside. Couldn't finish in the paint. Runs it down to Smokey. Whistle and a foul. And that one's going against Curry of Norwich. Her second of the game. The Cadets' 7th personal this half, so a 1-and-1 opportunity for Kennedy. Can't connect. And we're inside of 5 minutes. And Norwich in no hurry. The commanding 14-point lead here. Curry puts it on the floor, gets to the rim, finishes. And he'll go to the line, see if she can complete the three-point play. So Curry, you can see why she averages what she does, coming in at 23 a contest. She can shoot it from long range, but comfortable handling the basketball as well. We saw it right there on the dribble drive. Gets to the rim and looking to complete the three-point play. And does. 5'6" senior guard out of Windsor, Mass. Gives the Cadets a 17-point edge. 4:45 left in this one. So Saints go down low to Steele. Back to Lopez, who finds Broadhead. Holds it high, goes backside, Lara Suente. Yes! Her second three of the half, and a big one by Jazz. And again, now defensively, you've got to do some damage. If you're CSJ, there's some damage right there. Steele deflects that shot attempt away. Lara Suente in the open court, goes around the back, three-point pull. Just short on that one. But a good look in transition, just coming off a knockdown three. Jazz decides to pull it from the top. It's a little short on that try. Saints trail it by 14. Norwich clears the timeline at the 4:05 mark. They find Lottie for a wide open look. One, probably the most wide open she's been all evening. Can't get it to go. Saints find Lopez. They go inside to Steele. She'll finish with the left hand inside. Cuts the lead to 12. Not over yet, folks. The 3:45 mark, plenty of time if you can get some stops if you're the Fighting Saints. Lottie pulls it out. And they'll find Curry, who'll set things up on top. 12 on the shot clock. They go inside. LeBlanc won't go. Lopez runs down the rebound. And the Saints will push to their offensive side of things. Lara Suente, step back three. Can't get it to go. Jones coming in for the backside, denied the offensive board. And Norwich brings it up the floor. They found Lottie, but she was out of bounds going up the far sideline. So costly turnover there for Norwich. As Spate checks back into the game for CSJ. And Winans does the same for Norwich. 3:07 left in this one. Fighting Saints down a dozen. To be productive trips the rest of the way offensively. Broadheads wanted to start it with the elbow jumper. Doesn't get it to go. Josler, Norwich continues to push. That time they'll find Kethrow for the easy layup opportunity. And back to 14. The lead goes for Norwich. And they misfire on that pass inside. Do the Saints. McLaughlin back in the game for CSJ. Going in for Steele. Number 30, Leah Turcott, seeing her first action of the night for Norwich. So the Cadets up 14, 2.5 left to play. Work it to Lottie on the wing. Kethrow swings it to Turcott. And that's Josler with the deep pull. Didn't go. Lopez clears. Finds Lara Suente. Back to Lopez on top. Mendez puts it on the deck once. Stops. Pops. Won't go. Lopez runs it down. Finds Lara Suente. Good look off the wing. Can't find the range. Nice rebound in traffic by Winans. Norwich looks up the floor, a little too strong on the pass. And Lopez pushes it up for the Saints. Finds Lara Suente. Skips it cross court to Mendez. Thought about it. They go inside to McLaughlin. Whistle and a foul. They'll get Winans with the body for Norwich. McLaughlin works her way to the line, shooting a 1-and-1. Number 14, Emily Bonamy. And number 21, Clara Leister, check in for Norwich. Off the mark on that first attempt for McLaughlin. Norwich clears the timeline. Swings it to Keithrow, puts it on the deck, gets into the lane. Shot won't go. Out of bounds off Norwich. Check that. Guess out of bounds off the Fighting Saints. Norwich will retain possession. Cadets inbound. And they should be patient here, you would think. 14-point advantage. Bodies on the deck inside. They'll sort this one out. They're going to get number 5, Mendez, with the personal foul. Sending Winans to the line. Sophomore forward out of Hudson, New Hampshire. And gets the second one to go. Saints probe that zone defense, giving them trouble all night. Long range attempt. There's Suwente. Can't find the range. Gets it back, does Jazz. Crossover dribble, gets into the paint. Pretty move there by Larasuente. Knocks down the floater, cutting the lead to 13, but we're inside of a minute to play. Whistle and a foul. They'll get Jazz for the reach on top. And that will be Larasuente's 5th. So done for the night is Jazz. Ebony Jones comes on the floor replacing Larasuente. Leister, Clara Leister, junior guard out of Hartford, Vermont. Up and good with the first. And gets a pair, does Clara. Mendez with a 3-ball attempt, run down by Spate. Jones back to Lopez. Goes inside to Spate. And they'll get number 10 Winans of Norwich with the foul. So Spate works her way to the line. Shonika's first trip to the stripe. She'll shoot a pair. Off the mark with the first. Second one rims out as well. Winans clears. Clears and then cleared out. Did Winans. Assessed with the personal. CSJ will put it in on the side. 24 seconds left in this one. Going to go in the books as a Norwich victory. Be their 11th on the season against just 4 defeats. CSJ works it one more time. Mendez back to Lopez. They play pitch and catch. Mendez tees it up. Can't get it to go. Good offensive rebound inside by the Saints. Lopez rattles around and out. And with 3.3 seconds left to go, they'll whistle Ebony Jones for the personal. They'll parade to this end of the floor. And stepping up to the line will be Winans shooting a pair. And the 6-foot sophomore gets her first to go. and doubles down on it, getting her second as well. Mendez at the horn, and that'll do it here in Rutland, Vermont. So the Norwich University Cadets come away with a 79-62 victory. And a good run, back and forth action, but in that second half, Norwich just maintained that 8 to 10 to 12-point cushion. I think they got it up to 14, as high as 14 at one point. CSJ cut into it on a couple 3 balls a couple of times, cutting it back down to 7 or 8, but just couldn't get over the hump, so to speak, and cut deep into that cushion that Norwich had established for themselves. The 3 ball was good early for Norwich, and consistently throughout they pounded the offensive boards and took care of their defensive glass and kept CSJ off their offensive boards and made offense a difficult thing here tonight for CSJ, who comes in averaging 80 points per, gets 62 up on the board here this evening. But a good run nonetheless between these two. But it goes in the books as a 79-62 W for the Cadets of Norwich University. And as always, before we leave here tonight, we'd like to thank the STCN staff. That Stafford Technical Center news staff does such a great job with all our broadcasts. Kurt Casper and his crew here tonight, and outstanding camera work. And we'd like to thank them for bringing you Saints basketball, as always, on STCN. Now that'll do it here in Rutland, Vermont. Goes in the books as a 79-62 win for Norwich. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Rick Lyons wishing you good evening from Rutland, Vermont.